We are mic'd up, guys. Perfect. So we're gonna do a quick little test of the sound, and then we're gonna get straight into the video. I have my handy dandy iPad here for all of my notes, and I am literally sitting in the midst of Mid-City in Huntsville, Alabama while I do this episode, because I really wanted to do something different and get out of my house. And I have so much that I want to go over as far as my 2025 recap, because as y'all know, I told y'all I'm gonna be doing this, and this, and 2025 has come and is almost gone, and we're about to see what all I accomplished for 2025. So with that being said, let's get started. Welcome back to the Finesse and Failure YouTube channel and podcast. If you guys have not been here that long, it's been a while since I've uploaded a video. I think the last time I uploaded a video was June or July of 2025, so a couple of months ago. And I am not gonna tell y'all no lie, your girl has been going through it. We are going to go over my 2025 recap. And yes, my iPad old. No, I'm not buying a new one. No, y'all are not gonna shame me into buying a new one. This one works just fine. So let's get into it. 2025 was the year that I said I was going to travel more. I was going to work on my businesses. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find my 2025 vision board. I remember putting up my 2025 vision board, and I just don't remember what it looks like. And that's crazy because I'm supposed to be looking at this almost every day, right? Well, things happened, and that just did not become one of the things that happened. So I reverted back to using my vision board of 2024. My vision board for 2024 is the vision board that I've been using, and on my vision board, it's 100,000 wellness, relaxation, becoming a girl boss, and all of those things, right? So when I initially made this vision board, I was just starting out in my content creation journey. I was wanting to travel more. I was wanting to get into my wellness era, becoming a boss babe, becoming a businesswoman. And 2025, my vision board was kind of similar. I was using some of the same pictures. It just didn't look as good to me because I did it in a rush job. So I just reverted back to using my 2024 vision board, my goals and what I want and all of the things, and I'm gonna manifest those things and pray for those things to happen, because 2025 was such a weird year for me. 2025 was so weird because everything that I had been praying for to happen manifested itself into my life in ways I had never thought possible. So we're gonna get all into that with my 2025 recap, but I wanted to start off with my 2025 vision board. Was not the vision board that I used. I used one completely different. And if you guys have seen the one that I had created 2 years ago, there was a reason I created it that way. And now I feel like I'm a year behind because everything that I manifested in my 2024 year had came to fruition this year. So the first thing we're going to go over in 2025 is February. Now, February is 2.5 months away. And it's bittersweet to think about now, low-key traumatic. For those of y'all who know, I've been healing in these last couple of months, and actually healing, not the healing that I thought I was doing in the first couple months, but actually healing in these last couple of months. And in February, I went through a breakup, and this was something that I did not see coming, but I had anticipated, and I had known for a while this might not be my forever. Right? But I can say this confidently now, because back then and months ago, I was sick to my stomach. I was depressed. I was sad. But something that I didn't know was going to happen was the breakup was going to happen in February. The breakup happened in February. It was for the best for both of us. And although this is someone that I had learned to grow with, and I grew with, and I loved, sometimes you have to take a look at the relationship and take a look at yourself and see, maybe for both of us, maybe this isn't the best for either of us, and move on from there. So that is a relationship that I found myself without at the end of February, early March. And from March, April, and May, I can say those 3 months, I thought I was healing. right? I thought I was doing all the things. I was going to the gym, I was reading, I was focused, I was praying. All of those things I was doing I was keeping myself busy. I was going out all the time. All of those things that I was doing, I wasn't really healing. I was just keeping myself busy to where I didn't really have to feel those feelings, right? June, July, August came around, and that's really when I saw myself transition into the woman I am now. The girl who is not taking crumbs, the girl who knows her worth, the girl who is not vibrating lowly, the girl who is understanding what her goals are, understanding what her mission is, what my vision is for the remainder of the year, for the rest of my life. And that truly showed me that relationship was not for me for multiple reasons, but the woman I am now could never exist without that relationship ending. So I'm just grateful that I was able to get out of the relationship. I'm grateful that I still am able to learn from the relationship and understand where I want to be, where I want to go, and who I'm going to allow in my life now that I know who I am, I know what I'm worth, and I'm not just accepting of anything, right? So the next part is I'm so thankful to the guy that I was talking to. There's so many stages in dating these days. So the guy that I was talking to at the time in that March, April, May phase, June, July, August phase, we sat down and we talked about why he wasn't comfortable moving forward with me, which was something that I had never done in my entire life. And I was so comfortable in this conversation. He told me, you're not ready to move on, and that's perfectly okay. You still have some work to do, and I'm just not wanting to put myself through that. And although it kind of hurt my feelings at the time, you just ended it with me, like me. But that probably was the healthiest thing for me, because I had formed this unhealthy attachment to this person because I was just trying to keep myself as busy as possible with everything else and not focus on me. And because that person told me that, I actually took a very deep look at myself, and I was like, you know what? They're not wrong. I do still have some healing to do. I do have some work to do. I do have some forgiving to do, right? So with that, I'm just grateful altogether that that conversation was one that I had with the person that I was interested in. And you never know, maybe that comes back around at some point in time. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I just know that I'm grateful for that conversation being had, because had it not been had, that's when I decided I needed to go on my healing journey again. I needed to start again. I needed to start without creating content around it. I needed to start raw. I needed to start all over again. And I needed to start without shame. I think the shame portion was the hardest part for me, because I had just gotten out of a relationship that lasted me 3 years, right? Almost 3 years. I wasn't able to hold down my emotions. I wasn't able to regulate. And that's when I decided, again, I needed to get back into therapy. And as easy as that sounds, it's not easy at all to self-diagnose your depression and not be able to do a thing about it. And thank God for BetterHelp. Thank God for my therapist, because we had weekly, if not 2 to 3 times a week, sessions for about a month in order to get me out of my depression, in order to get me out of my funk, because baby, it was hard actually feeling and processing what I was mentally going through, what I was emotionally going through, on top of having to wake up every day and be a good person, but also be an employee, be in charge of other people. My life was going down the toilet, and I still had to maintain an emotional stability at work, and it was so hard. So that is when I ended up finding my faith. Now, Lord, I am a work in progress, as all of your children are. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I got baptized and I started reading the word every day. But I found my faith because I knew if I could get through what I thought was the hardest part of my life, right? What I thought was the toughest part of my life, I knew I could get through anything. And I got through it by prayer, by consistently stopping, smelling the flowers, walking in, touching grass, thanking him, being grateful, showing my gratitude, and truly and honestly having those open conversations with him, because I don't know how I would have gotten through without it. So finding my faith and building my faith is another part of what I want to accomplish for this year. And I'm not saying I'm going to be a born again Christian. I know where I falter. I know where I am. But I also know that in order for me to get anywhere, I need to strengthen the relationship with him. And I plan on doing so. Now, this is when it started to get really interesting for me. August, as we all know, my birthday month. First week of August, 7th day, stop playing with your girl. You as well as I know, my birthday is a big deal. If you don't make my birthday a big deal and you're my friend, you're no longer my friend. I don't know what to tell you. I love y'all down bad, but I will always protect my birthday. My birthday has been a traumatic experience for the last year due to a decision that I had to make. And I take full responsibility of it. But this year was my year of grief and mourning on my birthday. So feel how you want to feel. Today, I'm going to feel how I want to feel. And no one can ever make me feel bad for the decisions I had to make. With that being said, I took my last vacation of the year on the week of my birthday. For a week straight, I sat, well, probably like 4 days. I sat in utter depression. I sat in my feelings. I cried every day. Like, I could find the videos, and maybe I can find the videos of me in the car crying, the phone to my therapist, talking to my mother, talking to my sister. Like, system, I weighed them down heavy in July and August because I knew what was coming up. I knew I was getting depressed. Seasonal depression was starting to kick in again because it was getting a little chilly outside for just a minute. And Lord, somehow, way, I got through it. I pulled myself out of that depression. I prayed myself through it. I kept putting me first. And I just kept going the way I knew I had to go. Once you hit rock bottom, there's only one way, and it's up. And baby, I prayed for the days that I could be up. I prayed for the days where I could wake up and feel myself and not feel utter depression. So Lord knows I'm so thankful for making it through those days. Now, September is where it gets really interesting. As y'all know, I've been working with the company that I've been working for the last 7 years. I've been able to support myself with working for just this one company. And I've looked other places, I've looked elsewhere, but I didn't find anything that called to me, right? So I've wanted to move up with this company. I wanted to do other things with this company. I wanted to become a specific role that I wanted, have wanted for a while. And that's the only reason why I started moving up in the company, is because I knew that this is something that I wanted. Well, in September, the company that I work for made this announcement that they have now brought someone in who is now in the role that I wanted. Can vividly remember finding out, my friend called me and he was like, hey, take a look at this. And I did. And I went ballistic. Remember, this was a time where I was already coming out of being depressed, anxious, upset, all of the things, right? So now that I'm getting my life back on track, I see that something that I have been working so hard for was placed with someone else. And not because I hadn't have the qualifications, not because I didn't have the dedication, not because the job wasn't for me. No, this job was purposely given to someone else. Couldn't believe it. I was pissed. It wasn't even a good word to use. The emotion that I felt betrayal. I felt let down. I was disappointed. I felt discouraged because I have been working my last 7 years for this. I've built my name up with this company for 7 years for this position to not be mine. What else could I do? So it comes out later, there's a reason behind everything, and understandably so, but that doesn't mean that I didn't get that itch that it was time for me to move on, right? So with that being said, I start looking and I'm like, job that I'm looking for, every job that I want, right? I need my bachelor's degree. For those of y'all who don't know, I dropped out of college in 2017, started working, have been with that same company for the last 7 years, since 2018. And I have been trying my hardest to find my path, find my way, figure out what I want to do for me, right? And somehow nothing was clicking for me. Nothing was wanting to do anything. And I'm a very big advocate and believer that if it's for you, God will put it in your way. And nothing has really screamed at me until very recently. Nothing has really screamed, this is for you. This is your path. This is how you help, right? This is your purpose, which is what I was looking for. But everything was saying bachelor's, master's, 15 years of experience with X, Y, and Z, which we'll get on the job market here later. I'm going to get into that in another video completely. What is up with the job market wanting a master's degree for someone who's only going to be paid $50K a year? A master's degree costs $170,000. And you want me to take that master's to work in? We'll get over that at another time. So in September, I decided I needed to do something else. I needed to find something else because the job I was at was not my end destination, right? I already knew that. Everyone that I work with knows that. It wasn't making me happy anymore. I was no longer happy in the position that I was in, or the position that I am in. And I know, just like everyone else knows, you need to have some type of leverage, some type of backup plan, some type of something. And the something for me was my bachelor's degree. I was 12 classes away from finishing my degree. 12. That is about 2 semesters and a half. Logged on, found some program, enrolled back in the program that I was in. I said, yeah, it's going to be my comeback. I'm going to shit on you season. This is going to be I'm going to show you all exactly what I'm made of. I'm going to show you all why it was stupid of you to pass up on someone like me and why you will regret the decision you made. Right? That is what I was thinking. So of course I enrolled back in the program, right? I'm like, man, go ahead and get this degree over and done with. One of my homegirls said it the best way I could possibly find out. Something had happened and I was mad. Like mad as I ever can physically get. I was mad. And she looked me in my face and she said, you know what? I'm glad this happened. And me, like, the hell you hating ass? Yeah. She was like, no. I'm glad this happened because every time something like this happens to you, you boss up. You make people regret playing in your face. You make people look at you in a different light because they didn't know you had that grind in you, that hustle. You got that dog in you. And that's when I knew, you're right. I'm glad this happened to me. I'm glad they passed me up for this job because that was God telling me I'm not supposed to be here forever. And I need to stop playing with my own potential. That's what this was showing me. So I literally was like, you know what? You're right. I enrolled back into school. Y'all, today is December 3rd. I am 1.5 classes away, 1.5 classes away from finishing my degree with a 3.98 GPA. And I did it in a month and a half. I was grinding so freaking hard. I was knocking classes out left and right because 1, got that dog in me. But 2, simply because I knew people were preying on my downfall. I knew I had to show up and show my ass because if I didn't, they was going to be right to pass me up. Baby, dog in me. So that rewind. October comes around, some things happen within the company, and now my boss has moved to another location. I think that I'm going to be like, oh, I got this in the bag. Nope, I don't have it in the bag. Someone else comes in, swoops it up. It is no longer an idea for me. I'm so grateful that I started my degree again because this is the second time in a month and a half, 2 months, that I've seen that I am nowhere near as valued as I thought I was in this company. I got to think something different. I got to think bigger, right? So I'm currently working in that situation right now. This will be the 2nd month that I'm working in that situation. And it's an interesting dynamic. But like ride these last few months. my degree program back. Let me make sure I got this right, because I'm almost positive I do. Right before I start my degree program back, I go out one night, have a drink, literally had 2 drinks that entire night, and somehow, some way, get into a car accident on September 20th at 11 o'clock at night. I get into a car accident on September 20th. Classes start in 2 weeks. I am crying. I'm upset. I'm confused. I keep asking why? Why is it that we as humans fix our mouths to ask God why? Why is this happening to us when we literally asked him this? I asked for a new car. I asked for a new opportunity. I asked for all of these things, and yet still I had the audacity to sit in my bed and cry when they were presented to me. I got into a car accident on September 20th, totaled my car. Y'all know me and Sandy go together real bad. That's my girl, right? Me and Sandy had been together since 2019, 6 years. Me and Sandy, 6.5, almost 7 years. Me and Sandy had been together. Me and Sandy have seen boyfriend after boyfriend. Me and Sandy done seen state after state. We done seen accident after accident. Me and Sandy been together. We've been thugging. But I knew it was almost time for me to have a new car. Sandy was getting old. Sandy was getting more expensive to fix. I got into a car accident, totaled my car. 3 days later, God afforded me the opportunity to get a new car that I could afford, that I could more than afford. God put me in a position to win, to be happy, to be in a safe and reliable vehicle. And what did I do? Why, Lord? But I never once said, why, Lord, when I was getting the car. I went online, I looked at cars, and I was like, what's the good car, safe car, reliable car with good gas mileage? Ordered her online on Monday. She came to me on Tuesday. Been driving her ever since. New car. Rest in peace to my old one, but it was time. Classes started on October 6th. I was able to drive my new car to a beautiful venue, or not, a beautiful restaurant, to start my first day of class, because they're online classes. I do them as I please, set the pace, but I wanted to set the day right. So I set the tone. I went to a beautiful restaurant and I finished up like 2 or 3 readings and I'm home in my new car. Okay. All of these things are happening, seems like at lightning speed, but it was like weeks apart. Then I meet a guy. I'm not ready to date. I'm still not ready to date. I'm still not ready to be in another relationship. But I meet a guy who is showing me all of the things that I used to beg for in other relationships, in other situationships. So scared because I don't want to go through what I went through months ago, being depressed and sad and dark again. So I'm waiting. And the last thing that I want to talk to everyone about is family and travel. Back in June, when I recorded 2 or 3 episodes at a time, there were 2 episodes I never let out. I still may never let out. Genuinely was frustrated with everything. And some of the things that I said in those videos, I can't take back. So I'm not gonna world. But one of the things that I told myself that I wanted to do this year was build the relationships with my family. And one of the relationships I did not think that I was gonna build on was the relationship with my sister. Me and my sister have always been somewhat close, but over this year, we've gotten so much closer. The love I have for my family is unmatched. I will do anything for them. But the overall feeling I get in the pit of my stomach when it comes down to my niece and my sister, I don't play about them. I strengthened relationships with my sister, with my best friend, with my niece, and I'm still working on those relationships to this day because you still have to work on certain things. But when I say, and I mean this, I genuinely cannot to see how these relationships blossom in 2026. I can't wait to see it because I know I put so much work in this year that those relationships will be so much stronger than last year, than this year, than any year before. And then the last thing that was on my vision board for 2024 and 2025 was travel. I have been to 4 different cities this year. if I'm not mistaken. 4 different cities. I told I wanted to travel more this year. I went to Jamaica this year. At the end of the year, I'm going to the Bahamas again as a family vacation. But this is I wanted to do, and now I'm on a flight every other week. I'm exploring new cities. I am expanding my knowledge. I'm culturally more sound in a lot more areas. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, this is such a good feeling. I've been to Denver 4 times now, or Denver and some of the surrounding cities. Every time I go to a new state, every time I go to a new city, I always say, oh, I can see myself living here, knowing darn well I don't need to be nowhere but back in South Carolina. But I feel like I'm still so young, and why am I gonna waste my young years just working and that's it? So my reflection for 2025 may not be the reflection of everyone else, but my reflection of 2025 is this: understanding when you need to pivot in life is so important. You literally can watch your life pass you by with no fond memories of anything because you had your head down too long and you didn't appreciate what was going on around you at the time. I wish that I would have pivoted 2 years ago and just put my foot down and felt what I was gonna felt what I was gonna feel. And I probably would be in space now. I'm so grateful for where I am right now in my life, the things that I have, the things that I can afford, the things that I'm doing, the places that I'm going. I'm so grateful. But I am even more grateful for the faith that I have in not only myself, but in God. I'm so grateful for the family that I was blessed with. I'm so grateful for the people that I call my friends. I'm so grateful for the things that aren't material as much as I am grateful for the things that are, because I don't know who or where I would be if I didn't have that faith, if I didn't wake myself up out of that dark place. Honestly, guys, I'm grateful that 2025 happened, even though it was nowhere near the year that I had anticipated. And I genuinely can't wait to see what's coming next. Here is to 2026 being a phenomenal year, to the Finesse and Failure podcast coming back, to taking my time in life and not rushing through everything, but also taking time to smell the flowers when you get them. As always, with much love, appreciation, and respect, I'll see you guys again soon on the Finesse and Failure podcast or the YouTube channel. Bye.